Alright guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video. So it took a while, but we did finally get another sub EZA. Well, this batch of sub EZAs, Kale, Caulifla, Hit, and Vados, who are pretty good, right? This whole like batch of EZAs, which includes Kefla, I think are all quite good characters, who of course came out several months ago on Global. This Kale was a monster for quite a while. She was very good during the 6th anniversary. Very helpful in a lot of the God event missions and stuff like that. So we're going to take a look at Kale today. If we take a look at the build I gave her, I'm mostly moving towards dodge right there. It would be even higher if I gave her equips more geared towards dodge and not really so much towards additional, right? Like if, for example, the gold equip, we can get an extra 2 dodge right there. The silver equip, we get potentially an extra 2 dodge. And then the bronze can get an extra dodge. So mostly, I mean, with characters like Kale, like, we just really want her to be able to tank. I mean, that's going to be her primary kind of ability. Giving her a little bit of additional for her stacks, and then her ability to get crits as well now, which is built in, is going to be obviously pretty good there. Now, one thing I do just quickly want to show here before we jump in, Kale is only on AGL Kale's 200% leader, so we'll use her for this, but keep in mind that Kale will be a tremendous option on, say, Topo's team. I mean, we certainly could build it in that fashion where we get, you know, maybe like Tech Caulifla plus Kale as a rotation on Topo's team, and I think it actually could work potentially very effectively, or maybe even Android 17 and 18's team. That is possible as well. Let's hop in an event and see how good our girl Kale is. Alright guys, we are here in an event. I figured we could go ahead and jump into the fight against Supreme Battle Spectacle UI Goku. That is going to be our first, well, probably our only run. Because like Kale and Caulifla, it's very easy to see where they're good. They're a little bit niche, kinda, but they're very good. Now, on this first turn, we aren't going to have a Caulifla here with Kale. What's funny is that not only this Kale, but obviously Dokkan Fest Kale as well, badly needs a Caulifla character. We really would benefit from another really good Caulifla. I guess, I mean, if they weren't going to do like a new summonable one, maybe the Tech Kale and Caulifla potentially could be an option. I mean, to EZA at some point. I do think any 2021 character at this point is kind of on the table to EZA. I mean, Tech Kale and Caulifla, funny enough, were the very next Dokkan Fest TUR after Super Vegeta. So, like, it's you know, like, they could be up at any time, for sure. Okay, so Kale, she gets, we're not going to have this up for this turn, 160% attack and defense, that's a lot, and guaranteed guard if there's a Caulifla in the turn. So it is pretty crucial for her. We'll go over everything else she does after this turn, but I just wanted to point that out right there. So I think with this team, we should really be quite effective against this UI Goku. I don't really think he's going to be able to challenge us too much. I think Kale should be able to handle business in here. Probably a little bit better even than we saw against Evolution Blue Vegeta, because UI Goku does not have the huge defensive debuff, which is sometimes very tough to get through. Alright, so Kale immediately triple supers. So Kale has her first super attack. She has an additional super if there's Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan enemy. Then she has an additional super if there's 6 or more Universe 6 allies. And then we got the Hidden Potential System additional as well. So that is Kale's, I mean, that's her best turn, really. It's just quad supering like that, and we got it right away. Now, the good thing about Kale is that all these additionals are guaranteed supers. So none of this super normal nonsense, which is good. Now, of course, 2 of her additionals are very heavily restricted. I mean, fighting a Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan enemy, or a full Universe 6 team. So understand that. Also, I'm just going to skip this turn in 2 seconds here. But Kale right here, the other thing that she has, which we should keep in mind right here, is that Kale has a very good super attack effect. She stacks attack and defense, and she also greatly lowers enemy defense. There's a few fights where that'll help, but I mean, lowering defense is not the biggest deal, but every one of these super attacks Kale does, she is stacking. So by the end of this event, that rotation of Kale and Caulifla, like if we're going to fight some Universal Survival Saga type Saiyan or something like that, they're going to get torched. I mean, it's so funny. Was it intentional that they knew, we can't do a tournament of power like, you know, Supreme Battle Spectacle where it ends with like, you know, Supreme Battle Spectacle UI Goku or something like that, because Kale and Caulifla will be unstoppable. Is that the thing? Maybe. I don't know. But we'll see. There's still a lot of tournament of power characters, right? We can get Supreme Battle Spectacle Kefla at some point, Jiren. I mean, there's a lot of characters they could still do from in here. All right, guys. So here we have a pretty good rotation for Kale. We're going to have Kale. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. I mean, so we did get 4 super attacks, so she had 4 stacks. And now we have support from Kabe as well. And then, of course, we're going to have 6 out of our 7 links activated. So Kale's link set here, we have Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Race, Battlefield Diva, Solid Support, Warriors of Universe 6, Tournament Power, and Fierce Battle. What does Caulifla have? Prodigies? Yeah, it's Prodigy. She has Prodigies instead of Solid Support right there. So we have 6 out of 7 links activated. We have Caulifla next to her. So Kale is now going to have the additional 160% attack and defense plus guaranteed guard. Kale, the other parts of her passive I didn't talk about yet. She gets 160% attack and defense at the start of turn. Then she gets 16% attack and defense per Pure Saiyan or Peppy Gal category ally in the team. Remember, that does stack. So a character that's Pure Saiyan and Peppy Gal is giving her 32%. And then also, she's getting an extra 6% chance to crit per Pure Saiyan or Peppy Gal category ally on the team as well. We have one character on the team who is not on either, and that is Hit. But I still felt like to make like a nice cohesive team, you know, a good team to show what Kale is capable of as well. But also like an effective team to try and win. Yeah, pretty good. All right, so let's see what Kale's damage is. So, I should calc what. Well, okay, calc. I mean, let me change it to I should count in my head. What Kale's crit chance is with the Pure Saiyan and Peppy Gals. Because again, remember, it does stack. So we're probably gonna see her crit like crazy. Okay, well, no crit right there, sure. Remember, the first 3 supers are also guaranteed. Yeah, dude, Kale is nuts. I mean, if you have Kale's conditions activated, I mean, she is busted. Kale seriously is busted. All right, let's take a look. So what are we working with right here? We'll be able to transform a Kale. This is a Kale showcase, so I think I actually probably will get the active skill in the video. All right, so Kefla, that is going to be 6% chance to crit. Plus Kale, that's going to be 12, so we're up to 18%. And then another Kale, that's going to go ahead and get us to 30% chance to crit. Then Kale and Caulifla, that's going to give us 24, so we're up to 54%. And then Kabe is just going to be a regular Saiyan. So right now, with this build, Kale has a 60% chance to crit. So she's going to do 3 guaranteed supers, and she's got a 60% chance to crit. You know, if we removed Hit and maybe put like LR, Kale, and Caulifla, you know, we'd be able to get an additional, 12% and also a little bit higher stats as well. But again, Kale and Caulifla, like dropping down from Kale and Caulifla to, or dropping down from Hit to Kale and Caulifla, I think would hurt. But okay. All right, let's just come back for Kale's next rotation, but things are looking good. Oh, here. I do want to get this in the video, so let's go ahead and do this right here. Alright guys, I'm actually coming back real quick because I wanted to show the resulting turn. So Kale eats the first hit, gets her defensive buff. Now, let's watch how this goes right here. I think that this is a good example of how Kale just obviously is not as good as she was last year. So we're going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to get a bunch of normals, right? Including hidden potential system, additional normal. And then UI Goku's like, all right, time to super attack. So let's go ahead and take a look at the damage we're going to take. By the way, I did not put my... We'll look at the build for my Kale after this. 366. That's a lot. This UI Goku, I mean, he's a legitimate boss in that his damage is, you know, around Fusion Zamasu level, but I mean, he's only around Fusion Zamasu level, man. That's just like, this is where they messed up bad. Like, they dropped all these Universe 6 characters a year apart from the leader of the team. So, you know, it's, there's kind of just a discrepancy here. Kale herself is not good enough to be the point for the team, right? It's just not really going to work too effectively there. So, okie dokie. Kind of a bummer to see Kale take that much damage. I mean, that's our entire HP pool right there. I mean, now, there is one good thing, though, to Kale taking that much damage, which we're about to show in 2 seconds, is we're going to have hit on rotation with Kale and Khalifa. So Kale... who has just been, you know, Kale's just been doing her thing, right? She's been stacking up quite a bit. So Kale's just going to give us a full HP reset from hits orbs right here. Bam. Oh, we're not low enough, actually. Okay. But it's fine. Because we're still at, you know, basically a million defense, and we could still just hit these line of orbs, hit created, and we'll mostly get our HP back. Hit could get punished at the end right here if UI Goku decides to do a cheeky slot 3 super. I would be more than a little annoyed. Let me look at my build for Kale. Man, I don't know. Yeah, that's just definitely not the move. I mean, raw defense and dodge. Damn, this is my Kale, huh? I mean, last year in 2023, you know, it's like she's able to do quite, you know, she was like, once you got to Super Saiyan 2 Kale, she was that powerful, but she just never had the help she needed. Damn, Kale was a bad release. It's so funny because you look at it, it seems like in 2024 Dokkan, right? Like, Kale would have gotten, like, I don't know, tech hits super EZA as well. Like, added to the celebration, like the Kale celebration, right? Like, if it just happened this year instead. And, like, tech hit would have super EZA'd. Super EZAs, you guys are gonna see. You're gonna notice. It's real. Super EZAs are such a game changer. It's nuts. It's ridiculous how good super EZAs are gonna be. And by the way, you're looking at Kale. I mean, you know what is truly very fun? You guys know, I'll sit here and say, defense is all that matters. Defense is more important than offense. Defense ages better than offense, stuff like that. But, you know, it is fun when it's just like, all right, Kale, you know, you've got 50 more super attacks coming, and I know that for sure. That is pretty fun. All right, UI, just super Khalifa, 100% dodge. I'll be very annoyed if he actually does that. Awesome. That's great. Because you know what Khalifa has? 100% dodge. Yes, she does. All right, perfect. So looks like hit will not finish off UI Goku, which is good. So now next turn, we're going to go ahead and get to see our girl Kale turn 1 against Mastered UI, which is what we're looking for. Wait a minute. Let me double check. Mastered UI, he does not have any shenanigans, right? So Mastered UI, he doesn't, like, stun or anything like that. I'm pretty sure what Mastered UI does is he just increases his own damage when he supers. I just want to confirm that. No, he actually seals as well. Okay. Yeah, UI Goku gets 30% attack, colossal damage to enemy, and then seals super. So we do not want to put Kale in slot 1 because I do not want to get our girl sealed up. So we can just go ahead and put Khalifa in slot 1 instead. So we have quite the rotation right here. The good thing is that the two girls together, their key should be pretty good. So, yeah, okay. Let's put Khalifa first. Maybe, is this gonna be enough for Kefla? No. Damn. I mean, I could pop this, sure. Because she changes physical orbs to STR, but, I mean, the field of orbs wasn't quite the best. There might have been a way I could have configured it a little bit better, but sure, we'll just rock with this. Kale's at 1.3 million right there. And, I mean, this is only turn 8. I mean, she could just keep going. Going and going and going. Yeah, Kale is very impressive. I think Kale looks super good. Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, is while Kale, you know, she definitely does, again, look super good, we do have to have, you know, conditions activated. But, like, this is a sub-EZA character. I've got no problem with, like, kind of like the conditions we'd have to hit for Kale to be as good as she is. I don't really see it being an issue. Maybe, I mean, I guess the Universe 6 character, because here's the thing. I wouldn't bring, like, Kale and, well, I don't know, you probably could. I was going to say I wouldn't bring Kale and Khalifa unless we're fighting a pure Saiyan Universal Survival Saga enemy, but, I mean, Kale gets guaranteed guard as long as Khalifa is next to her, right? And, I mean, Khalifa, it's not going to be that tough, potentially, to have Khalifa, you know, with like an 80+% chance to dodge, 90+% chance to dodge, something like that. So the two of them can really combo and pair up nicely. I guess even if we were off of Universe 6. Okay. Yeah, they're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. Man, I think eventually we will get like an LR hit. Hey, maybe Tanabata will finally be, you know, Universe 6 or 7. Dokkan Fest LR Blue Kaioken Goku and Carnival LR hit. Hey, that's fine with me. Alright, guys, so there was STR Kale. She definitely looks to me like a very effective character. I like what they did with the sub-EZA Tech Khalifa and STR Kale. The good thing is that they had kind of built-in good mechanics, good tools already, right? So, this is Impressive Progress, Kale. Leader skill is Pure Saiyan or Peppy Gal, category key 3 and 130% to stats. Could be very good for, like, Battlefield, huh? I mean, Peppy Gal's is very legit against Metal Cooler, right? The very, very tough Battlefield Metal Cooler. Peppy Gal's can work super good against him. Her passive is Wavering Emotion. She gets 160% attack and defense at the start of turn. Then she gets 16% attack and defense and a 6% chance to crit per Pure Saiyan or Peppy Gal category ally in the team. Remember, that does stack. So, you know, she's going to get 32% attack and defense if a character is Pure Saiyan and Peppy Gal. And she's going to get, 12% chance to crit if a character is Pure Saiyan and Peppy Gal. Remember that Kefla, stupidly, is not on Pure Saiyans. I hate that so much, especially because it directly hurts a character you'd probably want to run with Kefla. Don't ask me. I hate the way they did the Pure Saiyan category. So there's that. Then she gets a guaranteed additional super if there's a Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan category enemy. She gets an additional super if there's 6 or more Universe 6 allies on the team. And then she gets 160% attack and defense, guaranteed guard, if there is a Khalifa in the same rotation. Khalifa is not very good right now in terms of the amount of Khalifas. It's Tech Khalifa, and that's basically it. I think LR Kale and Khalifa are not good. Obviously, like, I mean, I guess you could run, like, STR Khalifa, the Super Saiyan 2 one, and kind of hope for good things or something like that, but Khalifa doesn't exactly have good characters right now. Kale's super attack is the Resist Cannon. She stacks attack and defense, does supreme damage, and then greatly lowers enemy defense. Her links are Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Race, Battlefield Diva, Solid Support, Warriors of Universe 6, Tournament of Power, and then she's also, of course, got Fierce Battle. Then her 12 key multiplier is 140%, which is kind of the normal number for regular sort of like characters like that. In terms of Kale's category teams, I mean, I guess we probably could rock her on a lot of these teams. The most important thing, of course, would be to get her next to a Khalifa. So as long as Khalifa's on there as well. So she's on Universal Survival Saga, which is probably one of the best teams in the game because most characters are on Superhero. Kale is, although Kale's a Super Boss's character, of course. Kale is also on Universe 6, which, I mean, is at least kind of competitive, but Dokkan Fest Kale, we would want to be a lot stronger if it was going to be like an actual kind of team, but you guys get it. Then Kale is also on the Pure Saiyan category team. Okay. Kale is also on Peppy Gals. Again, I think running like Kale and Khalifa as like a potential option against Metal Cooler could be good. I mean, because Khalifa would have nice dodge chance. I mean, Kale could be guarding. Keep in mind, I mean, if you have experience fighting Battlefield Metal Cooler on Global, remember that his damage is about tripled on GP. So, like, he is going to presumably, I mean, we'll see, but he's presumably going to get a lot tougher for Global. I guess it's possible that GP will nerf him next Battlefield, and then Global will skip the current Battlefield, and then they would get the nerfed Metal Cooler, but considering they buffed Metal Cooler, this is probably the level they're going to keep him at. So there's Peppy Gals. Again, Peppy Gals against Metal Cooler is a really good idea. Then, Kale is also on the Rapid Growth category team. Sure. Kale is also on the Bond of Friendship category. I would love to see this get a powerful leader skill, Bond of Friendship. We haven't had one in quite a while, right? Yeah, it's just Tech Kefla and Tech Pan. I would love for this to be like one of 3 leader skills in like a Dokkan Fest LR. I think would be fire. Then, Kale, of course, is also on Tournament Participants. Topo's team, very, very good. And then finally, Kale is a Super Bosses character. I guess, I mean, you know, depending upon the fight, we could run Kale and Khalifa as a rotation. We definitely could. One thing that's good about Kale and Khalifa, let's say we're running double Rose Super Bosses. Kale and Khalifa aren't really going to need orbs, so we could just potentially set orbs up for, like, physical Rose or something like that. Like, that could be a good thing. Depending, obviously, I think, you know, fight specific, but yeah, I think it could work. So, there we go. There is sub EZA Kale. Is she good, yes or no? The answer is yes. Emphatically yes. Kale has a very good sub EZA.